know where we live now because we have sold everything in Canada.
You sold everything back
Really
there.
cold.
I
It's
have an
very
idea
old.
of what I will change.
It took you 10 years to convince him.
Already once unstuck the school bus deep in the
Okay.
sand. After 3 months of traveling, I knock back to the door and I say I was not sure if it would work.
Hello guys, welcome to Foreign Travel. Today we proved that impossible is nothing. I met a friend and Elsa. Nice to meet you guys. We met in Nicaragua. Right now we are in Costa Rica, hanging out at the campsite, but we jump to our guests. Can you name yourself? Can you speak about who are you, what are you doing, and how many of you are traveling with this lovely bus?
I am Frederic. I am from Quebec, Canada, traveling with my wife Elsa, and we travel with our 3 kids, Caleb, Cody, and Casey.
Hazy. It's more Kazi.
Okay, very nice. So you're traveling 5 and you're from Canada. How old are you guys?
I'm 36.
And I'm 33.
Okay, so we proved that impossible is nothing because we are with your bus, which is something awesome. We saw it for the first time here in Costa Rica. And I would like to ask you the first question. How and when did you take up the decision about full-time traveling? Was it dream from the beginning or you came up with this idea over the time?
I can answer
I can let Elsa answer this question.
because at the first time, Fred don't want to travel around the world, and I'm convinced him to do a world tour about like 10 years ago, almost near of the COVID. The ideas come more place in his mind. So after COVID, we take the decision to do the world tour, but we prepared that about 10 years. At the first time, we was supposed to do the world tour
In a sailboat.
in a sailboat. We have buy a sailboat, we have do a sailboat for 2 years, and our son, the middle one, be sick in the sailboat. So we have removed the idea of the sailboat and we have changed the idea about the world tour, and we start the world tour with the bus.
Okay, how old are your kids?
Caleb 9 years old, Cody 8 years old, and Casey almost 4.
And you told me before that you start homeschooling before actually living on the tour.
At the first time, we're not supposed to do homeschooling. We have taken the decision during COVID because our older son supposed to enter in the school with the worst time in the COVID time. So it's not a good idea for them to put to the school in this
vaccination and the mask in
situation.
the class.
So we have started the own school and we have built some community in Canada and we really love. So we have continued the old school during 3 years, and it's our plans too because we always know we want to do a world tour.
It was a good opportunity to test ourselves if we had the ability to make school to our kid.
Exactly, and we think it's more simple to do a world tour if the kids don't really know what is a normal school.
Okay.
So for our kid, the normality is traveling and more freedom.
Okay.
So it's more easier, I think, for us to do this.
I can see that the idea came up in your mind
Yeah.
and then it was transferred to Fred. It took you 10 years to convince him.
Exactly. Fred, I'm more a dreamer, and Fred is more.
Okay.
Earth to earth and calculation,
I do the dream, and he make it.
make it happen.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Can you tell us more about your traveling plan? Because you started your journey with some goal. I know it is not very strict day by day, but you have an ultimate goal, like how many years do you want to travel, what part of the world you're gonna see. So can you evaluate that? When have you started, where have you been, and what are your plans?
So we began the journey in Canada. It was in November and it was getting pretty cold, so we decided to go to the heat. So we went all the way to the Baja and spent some time there, like 3 months. Then we planned to go to Costa Rica and have a couple of months here. And after all the Central America, maybe we go back to Mexico again or United States, so we can store the bus and take a plane and maybe go to Asia with the boys with Airbnb and backpacking.
Okay.
And then after, come back to the school bus and drive to Alaska.
Mm.
And after, we don't know.
After
How-
maybe we just return to Quebec to see our family. We put the bus on Quebec to have a feed on Quebec
Okay.
and just leave to the winter around the world because we really want to do as well Africa or north of Europea. So we have so many destinations. We so in love with Japan, so we want to do Japan too. For all the travel, we take I think like 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And after we consider it to buy a house somewhere because we don't know where we live now because we have sold everything in Canada.
You sold everything back
We
there.
Everything.
sold everything
Okay.
in Canada. So we explore the world for 3 or 4 years and after we decide where.
So your
Very-
travel is gonna answer you the most important
Find the
question
best
in life.
Exactly.
Where are you going to live?
Exactly.
This is a very
Because
nice spot.
we are born in the place and we don't choose this place, you know. We have just born there and we have no choice because
You
the
try
family
to evolve
is
in
here.
this environment.
Exactly. So it's not a choice, but we want to do the choice. And if we come back Quebec, maybe, but that will
Yeah.
be
A
our
choice,
choice.
yeah.
Of course. We will move to the question I really like because your bus is awesome. But I would ask, especially Fred, who is the founder of this bus, actually a creator and an idea maker and a big fan of cars. Can you show off your rig? Tell us something about what are you traveling with? How long is it? Why are you holding a Jeep in the rear?
Yeah, I had some help with my wife. I cannot say I did
And
it all
kids.
by myself. And the kids too were involved
Yeah,
a
that's
lot.
so helpful.
They did the painting, screwing bolts and everything. So we had an opportunity. We buy this big thing. It was already begun project,
Yeah.
but we did finish it. And it's a Freightliner base, 2009 vehicle with a turbo diesel engine. The interior is completely renovated in a house style. We have solar panel, battery system, so we can be autonomous and go everywhere. This is 40 foot long, so this is why we have a Jeep.
40 feet is only the bus
Only the bus.
plus the Jeep.
Make
You are
it
towing.
65 foot long.
Okay.
So this is getting complicated when we go in narrow street and we want to explore, especially Central America, which are not very adapted to this kind of vehicle. But we did manage to find good spot. Then after we do the exploration with the Jeep. This Jeep, we have it for a long time. I'd say maybe 6 years. So this is our good vehicle that brings us everywhere. It has already once unstuck the school bus deep in the
Okay.
sand.
I will ask you later on to send me this video because this was awesome. How are you pulling out
Yeah.
the bus on the sand? But why I said at the very beginning is that impossible is nothing because you prove that impossible is nothing. United States, Canada is designed for a big rigs.
Yeah.
Central America is not designed for big rigs. And I really admire what you are doing because you are finding the spots to put your bus, but at the end, you travel with your Jeep everywhere you want. For all the guys who are dreaming about this trip, please know that there are solutions as far as you plan it right. You can find out the right spot and only your imagination is your limit. So you break the rules so I really admire that. I will move to the next question. What do you like the most about full-time traveling? Why do you like it on a daily basis? If you can name one or a few things.
For me, I think it's
The freedom?
Yeah, the freedom. The freedom to
You wake up and you decide what you do with your day.
exactly. We travel like this way because we don't want to do some plan. We do the plan day by day because we don't.
We have a long-term plan, but day by day we don't have any
The plan changes every time, every day. Because at the first time it's a sailboat, and after it's like going to Panama. Now it's Costa Rica. Now we have Asia, and after we had Europea. So we change the plans every time, and it's the freedom we like. Because every friend told you, oh, where you go in November, example. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going in November. Now I'm in Costa Rica, and maybe tomorrow I'm in Colombia. I don't know.
And maybe we meet friends and we stay with them like for 1 month.
Exactly. We love the freedom to just live our life. Yeah.
This is 100% true because we were not planning to spend a week in Costa Rica, but thanks to you guys, we are spending here complete week because children go to the international school to practice if maybe this is the way how the kids are going to be taught in the future. So the plan is no plan, actually. So you adjusted based on the experiences with the other travelers. Do you find any routine in your life on the way?
Yeah,
It's really hard. It's the problem, I think, because for example, the kid to do school is complicated to have a routine because we are
some
broke.
week we travel a lot, some week we are more stable,
Yeah.
so it's difficult to
And
have.
sometimes it's the weather.
special
The weather
routine.
is too hot, so we don't really want to do our routine and something like that. So it's hard. We are experiment about that
Yeah,
to establish a routine, but it's
it-
more easier
it's very
when
challenging on the adaptation process
Yeah.
that you need to.
it's more easier when we stay more time in the same place because on the road we explore, we meet somebody, everything happens, so it's complicated to have a routine. I think we don't have.
Like traveling, you need to find some water. Water is now a new issue, and when you
Yeah.
get used to a place, you know where the weather is. But when it's a new place, I gotta find some new weather to set up my big rig.
Yeah, at home you don't care about that. You just open the tap
Water
and you
from
don't
the
care.
faucet, yeah.
Exactly.
On the other hand, what do you find the most difficult on the way? Because we know what you like already, but what you actually dislike a little bit.
The border and the aduana.
Yeah, for Fred is for
Yeah.
sure the border and
So
Aduana.
challenging doing long
Because
roads,
with the
or
bus,
the border
yeah.
process.
Because the bus is so big, so at each border is complicated to just deal with.
I need
all.
to ask you about your worst experience on the border.
In Nicaragua or in Guatemala?
I think it's the two. Because the first time in Guatemala, we have a tip. Okay, when we're traveling, we need to tip a permit importation from vehicle,
Temporal, yeah.
and we need to have that for the bus and for the jeep. It's complicated because we have two vehicles. So for the jeep is always 6 months, and for the bus is 10 years. So when we go in Guatemala, I don't thinking about to stay a long time in Costa Rica, example. So we have need to return to Mexico to cancel the trip. So we park the bus in Guatemala, like near Flacatitlan, like 5 hours from the border, and we just exit the country with the jeep, and all is okay at this point. We just exit the country, the Guatemala, and we come to Mexico. We're going to cancel the trip, and everything is okay. When we come back to Guatemala, Guatemala say, no, you can't. You can't enter now in the country because
You left without the Casa Rolante.
Exactly. You are not supposed to exit the city, the country without the bus.
Okay.
So we have to do some issues with liars, little, not really good liars, because all the border know what it is. So for this country is like normal things. But we need to pay a lawyer this time to return in Guatemala to come back to our bus. And we have another issues about Nicaragua and Costa Rica. It's Costa Rica too.
From Nicaragua to Costa Rica, I think.
Yeah, we have Nicaragua too because Nicaragua they have
Big scanner and
Yeah,
they
big-
inspect everything, all the jeep,
long.
all the bus. Take
Exactly.
like 6 hours.
tell about Costa Rica for the other liars.
Yeah.
Costa Rica, the problem was because the bus and the jeep is at her name.
Don't do that.
But it's the only country that they don't accept that she has 2 vehicles. So she
Yeah.
had to make a letter from a lawyer that she authorized me to drive the Casa Rolante, and it cost us like $100 more, but we have to wait a lot of time in the aduana again. We check everything, the paper are right, 2-3 hours in the douane, in the border, will be okay, but at the end it's always like 7-8 hours.
Yes, exactly.
Always long.
So what I can read from this story is that for you there are no impossible things again, because all the travelers tell me more or less similar stories that I had an issue, but I had to
but
solve
what
it.
is the solution?
Let's move to the next question. Would it be anything you would change in a preparation phase? So you are on the way for last 5-6 months, so far. So you have some experience that was built over this time. Would you prepare something differently if you have a second chance?
I have the answer because we have built the bus very fastly in 1 year, but no, not 1 year, like 8 months. We are really in short in our time to, example, sell the house, build the bus, go out to the country. This part is so hard and fast for them. And we leave the Canada, I think, too late because for the best for the best winter, from the go to the south, we're supposed to leave the Canada, example, at June or May is the better way to have the best temperature, the best winter here,
Okay.
and to come back after with the temper not too hot because the timing of the travel impact
Yeah, the
all the
temperature.
rest
Yeah.
of the travel. So,
Yeah.
example, we want to stay more time in Salvador, in Honduras, in Nicaragua, but it's really too hot, so we can't. Maybe if we live more earlier, maybe it is better because we are the better winter for this country. So for me, I think is that.
For all the guys who are listening to us today, one part of the preparation phase should be investigate what will be the period of the year. What is the season in the
Yeah.
specific part of the world you're gonna go? Is it the dry season? I don't know, rain season, winter, whatever.
I
It's
have an
better
idea
early.
of what I will change. I will not bring the bikes.
You will not bring.
Yeah.
You're
No.
not using them.
No, it
No.
means so much
And
trouble.
I told them at
I
the
have a
first
5
time.
bike rack, so it's very heavy, and it broke my itch in
Oh.
Mexico City,
Horrible.
and we
Bike
use
is
like
horrible.
one time it's 6 months. So if I would like to use bike, I would rent bike, not bring it on the
Now
But you have
all the
Jeep.
bike is
You have a
done,
different
you know?
perspective.
It's just
Yeah.
destroyed. This issues about the bike is the same for all the traveler we meet.
Yeah,
All the traveler we meet,
Yeah, they
they
all say
bring
that.
their bicycle,
they
they
say I
don't
don't use
use
it.
it.
I wish I had a bike, and if people had a bike, I didn't.
I'm that guy. I say I wish I had a bike, but what I really wish I had a Jeep.
Okay. Yeah.
Speaking of your job, do you find full-time traveling costly? Yes or no? And how are you financing it over the trip?
It really depends on the pace of the traveling you do. If you do a lot of boondocking and you travel slowly, doesn't go in the restaurant too often, it's cheap. If you want to see everything, go everywhere, eat in all the restaurants, it can be expensive.
We can do some touristic things without touristic things. It's really easier to do everything more cheaper than what they offer on the
Yeah.
the travel, I think.
You can do a lot by your own, but you need to get in contact with the locals so they can give you good advice, where to go, where to look.
And about the jobs.
And about the
the
job, plan completely adapted while the trip. Because at the beginning, I was supposed to do some remote work, but it was not clear with my job. And just before leaving, they say, we cannot give you home work,
Okay.
remote work. Say, okay, so I just left my job. 3 people out of all the workers that had like 15 years of experience in the mill. And when I left, the 2 other one left too.
Okay.
So after 3 months of traveling, I knock back to the door and I say, are you interested in doing some remote work now? And they say yes. So actually, this is what I am doing.
Okay. How much time do you spend a week?
Between 15 hours and 20, I can adapt myself to this. I could work like 40 hours a week, but we will return back to the old life that we had. So it's a
Exactly.
decision to have less money, but have more time with the kids and enjoying.
You can balance between the costs because, like you said, you don't need to buy every trip.
And we have sell everything, so we have some investment. So we live,
From stock trading,
too, is the big part of our.
it's the basis, and the job that allow us to pay some extra.
Okay, so not going into big details, but you created two sources of income.
Yeah.
One is completely passive for you.
Exactly.
You don't consume your money that you built over the years.
Exactly.
Plus, you are doing some remote job. I will move to the next question. What is your best experience on the road you have so far?
So hard.
So
Yes.
difficult because since the old life, there's so many fantastic things.
Yeah, because it's we are start the traveling like since 7 months, and it's like we have do things for 5 years.
10 years, like
Yeah,
of normal living.
it's really hard to.
For me, maybe when I discover spearfishing,
Mhm.
I really enjoy it. I was in some hunting before in Canada, but not really in fishing.
How often do you spearfishing over the trip?
When I was in Baja, 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Certain point and moment the kids don't want hate fish anymore because we're fishing we have so love in fish and we hate fish and ceviche and everything about fish every day. So one moment we have just take more time to don't fish because the kids is a little bit. For me is more the paddleboard because I have do the paddleboard with the dolphin, with a ray,
Yeah.
with the ray to jump on the sea. So that's really a nice
Oh.
experience. I think because I really love water, I really love sea too. So everything about sea for me is the best. We have buy all of stuff on Facebook Market in the country where we are. So it's
Oh.
cheaper. Yeah.
This is a very nice idea.
Yeah. It's really cheaper because everywhere market on Facebook work. So
Yeah, people
really
respond
cheaper,
and
yeah.
you can.
and they have so much stuff to do because they have so much traveler. They do some things and they just sell it after.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you name also a best person you met on the way? Because my understanding of traveling is that this is not only about the countries you see, not only about the experiences you have, but also about the people you meet. Can you meet someone that stays in your mind?
Another very difficult question.
For me, it's really hard because we have met so much people, and we have not have enough time with certain people what I've met. But in Baja, we have met so much family. I think maybe Gandalf family, love family. We love so much. The Sunseeker family too is
Yeah.
really you obviously is a perfect match
Yeah,
too.
thank
Very,
you.
very natural, very easy going.
Yeah, it's fun. Is Thomas aussi les casse-couilles?
My mentor in spearfishing.
Yeah. it's
Ah,
really-
okay. So he taught
So-
you the skill. I'm talking with my wife that we met so many nice guys and we have so many invitations all over the world. So after we finish this trip, we need to plan another one to
see
visit
friends.
all the friends that
Yeah.
we have met on the travel.
It's like if it
Because they
opens
have
a
so
new,
much.
completely new path that
Yeah.
you need to rediscover after the trip. Yeah.
Okay, I got one more question to you about the tips for all the guys who are listening to us right now and they are very much inspired and they say, okay, I'd like to do it, but I cannot do it because of this and because of that. Can you make some tips for them how to plan their own ultimate journey, how to plan it, how to prepare it, and maybe how to take the decision to do it?
I will simply say I was exactly in this situation at the beginning. I had doubt. I was not sure if it would work, but we jumped in and we adapt. So if you have an ability to adapt, just do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
at the first time when
Trust
we
in
take
yourself.
Yeah.
It
Trust
will
in
work.
yourself.
Yeah.
when we take the decision, we doesn't have a remote job. We doesn't have money of invent nothing to do this life, But we take the decision and we did get, whatever, we made it and it did work. So we make it happen and all the universe take off. Important to just be confident about life and
Aim for it and you will go in
Yeah.
this direction.
when you
Okay.
when you really want something, I think it's possible,
Thank you for this nice interview. Can you tell us where can we find you? Do we have some social media? I will put it on at the bottom of our interview today.
I would
I
like
don't
you
know
this
if
part.
Fred know the name of the part of the page.
I'm the conductor reparator.
But it's we are in Instagram. It's the world around us.
Dot five.
And we are on YouTube too, but not a big fame on YouTube actually. And we are on Facebook, but the mostly is really Instagram.
Thank you very much for that. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you to the interview.
Thank you guys for listening. Stay tuned for the next interview and see you on the next episode.